Hi and welcome to the Bookkeepers Podcast. I'm Zoe Whitman. I'm here with Jo Wood and we're joined by Katie Skelton today. Katie's going to talk to us about email marketing. Hi Katie, nice to have you back. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We are good, aren't we, Jo?
Good. Yeah, we are really, really good. In our final week, countdown to Christmas. Are you all ready, Katie? Or are you like everyone that's just got a few bits to get?
No, I think I've got everything. Well, I think I've got everything. To my left, I've got loads of boxes that I've not actually opened yet because my kids are everywhere. And so I don't know what I haven't got because I've not had the chance to go through it. So I'm sure it's fine. It'll be fine. We've got the big stuff. We've got the important stuff. It's all good.
Oh, it's so exciting. Yeah, absolutely can't wait. Feeling very Christmassy this week. Well, look, as we go into Christmas, and maybe everyone here who's watching this, and hi, let us know if you're watching this live as well. It's always nice to know that you're here. Maybe people are going into Christmas thinking, I really want to send a Christmas newsletter to my clients or the people who are in my world. And it seems like a good time to talk about email marketing. Katie, I wonder if you can start actually, because we spoke to you in boot camp a little while ago, but for people who don't know who you are, would you mind telling us about who you are and what your background is?
Yeah, sure. So my long-term background is in sales and marketing. So I was a bid writer and account manager in the TV industry for years and years. I was then made redundant when I was on maternity leave with my second child, set up a copywriting business, soon realized that actually writing full-time for other people was too much of an energy drain for me and needed to find other ways of helping people. Went on a bit of a journey of discovery, realized that email was something that I was really passionate about, partly because I'm not passionate about it, which I'll touch on a bit more later. And then since then, it's all just taken off, particularly this year. And now I train small business owners in how to make email marketing feel good for them and for their subscribers.
Oh my goodness. Wow, what a journey. So email marketing, what does it actually mean? Because I think as business owners or as individuals, I mean, even now when you try and buy something from New Look, they want your email address so they can send you stuff. And I know I'm sure lots of people listening have like so many emails in their inbox and it feels like we're completely inundated with it. How does email marketing help somebody that's new in business to what's the benefit of it? And like, what does good look like?
Good questions. So how does it benefit if we're talking about small business owners, kind of forget about New Look peddling their 10% discounts at Christmas or saying they're going to send you your receipt, but actually they're going to send you loads of marketing emails. We all know what they're up to. As a small business owner, I see the role of email marketing as building on your personal brand, because if you're a small business owner, generally speaking, you are your brand. So it's an extension of your personal brand. And also it builds your know, like, and trust factors with your subscribers, with your audience. But the other thing that I think is really important with email is lots of people think that email is just there to make you sales. It's there you should have this funnel where people come in via a lead magnet, and we'll talk about this, like what all these things mean as well. Come in via a lead magnet, and then you try and get them to buy something, and then you get them to buy something else, and then eventually they've spent £1,000 before they know it. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be about building relationships. It can be about, one thing I talk about all the time is encouraging people to talk about you in rooms that you're not in. So even if you've got 500 people on your email list who are not, they might be potential ideal clients, but even if they never buy from you, if they happen to be at an event one day, or if they happen to be in the cafe locally and they overhear a conversation and they need what you're offering, they might think, oh, that person's been in my inbox. They've been sending me emails and giving me value week in, week out, month in, month out. They'll talk about you in that room that you're not in. So it's an extension of your marketing without you having to do any additional marketing, apart from sending the actual emails, obviously.
Oh, that's amazing. And we were talking to someone about this in the last couple of days about if you went to a networking event, not going to the event thinking this person is going to be my customer, but going to the event thinking this person will know people who might become my customers. So I suppose it's a bit like that. But you mentioned this phrase, personal brand. And I just wonder if you don't mind digging into that a bit more, because I think when we become bookkeepers or accountants and we start delivering what we do, we think, I'm delivering this service, I know what it looks like, I do it like this, and I do it with my business. And we spend so much time thinking, I need a business logo and a business name. And actually, now people are talking about having a personal brand and not a business brand. So is this a new thing, or what do we need to know here?
I don't think it's really a new thing. I think it's probably a new buzzword. So people have started using it a lot more widely. But the idea of personal brand is just allowing potential customers, or your audience, if you like, people who follow you on social media, your email subscribers, wherever people might come across your business, to get to know the person behind the business. Because I'm sure everybody watching has heard the phrase, people buy from people, not from brands or not from businesses. So the more you can connect on a human to human level with the people who might buy from you, the better. And that is in essence what a personal brand is.
Yeah, I think when people start out, they assume it's a logo. Like literally when people, I remember starting practices and thinking, I must get my I can't do anything until I have a logo and a business card. And now going into business, it's just so much more than that. And to think of an email being an extension, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, it's what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's really what your personal brand is all about. It's your messaging, your values, how you're making people feel. If people can talk about you in a room and they trust you and they think, oh, I'm going to contact them, a stranger, because of how they talk about you, that's like, it's so impactful. But like compared to just a logo, why did for years I spent so much time and energy thinking, what color should I use? What should my font look like? And I was getting it so wrong. And it's like no mistake that my businesses weren't doing as well when I really thought about the logo and nothing else. You also mentioned a lead magnet. Would you just mention, just let people know what a lead magnet is?
Yeah, so really simply put, a lead magnet is something that you are offering to people for free in exchange for their email address so that you can send them marketing emails. So it could be an ebook, it could be a free call with you, it could be an event or like a masterclass or something that you're running. It can take lots and lots of different forms, but the essence of it is somebody wants this free thing that you're offering, they give you their email address, you deliver the thing, and in exchange you've got their email address that you can do what you want within reason.
And I know that when you have a website, often you'll see at the bottom, subscribe for updates. Do you think people use those boxes, or do you think you need to offer people something in exchange for their email address?
So I don't necessarily think you have to offer something in exchange, like a lead magnet in exchange for their email address, because actually some of my most engaged email subscribers are the ones who have signed up for my newsletter because they want to receive the newsletter, and not because they've signed up because they want a free thing. Because sometimes people go, oh, a free checklist, I'll have that, and then I'll just ignore all the emails you ever send because I was only here for the checklist. Whereas if they're there for you and the value that you're delivering week in, week out, then they're much more likely to read those emails and engage with them and be engaged with you. So to answer your question, Zoe, I think there are probably slightly better ways of going about getting people to sign up for the newsletter type emails than just having a thing at the bottom of your website. And if you do, I would explain in much more, not in detail, but more specifically, what people are actually going to get when they sign up. So rather than sign up to get the latest news, you could say sign up to get one tip for managing your own bookkeeping every week or something like that. So people know, and also when they're going to get it as well. So when to expect it, how often to expect it, and what value you're actually going to give them. And then they're much more likely to see that at the bottom of the website and go, oh yeah, I really want to be part of that.
That's so important, because if you're just handing over, I mean, even if I want the free download, I really have to think about, do I want what's going to follow that? Because our experience leads us to think it's just going to be filling our inbox with junk. But I love that, actually saying, I'm going to be sharing this thing with you, this frequency, in this format. Do you want that? Feels like it's really transparent. And I think that's really important these days, because I don't exactly like the shops that ask you, do you want your receipt emailed? It feels a bit, we know what they're doing, but they're not being transparent about it. Whereas it feels out of integrity, doesn't it? If we're just trying to capture emails for that purpose, we're always very clear. Like, if people sign up for our boot camps, we're going to be telling you about what's going on in boot camp and keeping you updated. If that's what you want, you can sign up, or you don't have to. And we're really clear about like double opting in, making sure people really, really want to hear our emails, because we don't want to wind people up. It's very, we want it to, because it's part of our values and things like that. So it's really interesting. How do you get, okay, so what's the difference between a newsletter and just regular email marketing? How can people differentiate between the two?
So a newsletter, contrary to what it sounds like, doesn't always have to be just about your news and your business's news, because that is going to probably get quite boring quite quickly. Nobody, as much as you love shouting about the awards that you've won or the places you've been or the clients you've worked with, actually what you need to do is think what's in it for the person who's receiving it. Always think of the human at the end of the inbox who's reading your email. But a newsletter can be a way of giving additional regular value. It's a regular touch point where you're popping into someone's inbox on a regular basis and providing, I know the word value is really overused as well, but providing something that makes them feel like it's worth you being in their inbox week in, week out. So that's a newsletter style email. So that's that kind of regular marketing, like your regular posts on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And then I guess the difference between a newsletter and then other types of email marketing is other sequences and stuff can be much more sales focused. They can have a specific selling outcome attached to them, whereas your newsletter can just be about staying front of mind until the time's right. And then when you do send those sales emails, people feel like they've got enough from you to warrant it being okay, I guess, for you to start sending sales emails, because you've given them something in return. You're not just asking for their money all the time.
Yeah. So I'm on a mailing list, which is written by an estate agent in Dorset. And, I don't live in Dorset. I haven't lived in Dorset for a very long time, but she is on social media. I don't know how I ended up on her mailing list, but she sends, not very frequently really, but I always look out for them. Like if I see it come in, I'm like, oh, it's from her. And she always gives a little bit of a market update, tells you about some houses she's got for sale. They're fancy, but like, and I'm always like, oh, that one looks nice in my sort of vision board way. But she always gives a little bit of information about like the market background, what's happening at the moment. And I'm like, well, that we all have things like that to share from time to time. Okay, like that actually could be useful for some, to know inflation is at this percent, or this grant is being introduced locally, or something like that. Like we could all do that, and then, but it's just not about being like, here's loads of random stuff I've collected from the internet and I'm throwing at you. But how do you make that different to something you put on social media? Could it be the same? You were talking about your LinkedIn and the way you stay in touch with people in that way. Do you need the email to be different, or can you repurpose the same content?
It doesn't necessarily have to be different, I wouldn't say. One of my promises to my email list is that I will always give them the best of me first. So whatever I'm sending to my email list will be unique to them first. Doesn't mean it won't end up on LinkedIn at some point. And also sometimes I'll do a post on LinkedIn and it will generate loads of conversation and loads of interest. And then I will incorporate a link to that post in my email, because I think that my email subscribers would actually be interested in joining that conversation. So I think that there's a way of repurposing, and it doesn't have to be entirely unique content. It can be repurposed, but I would always say that because you're I don't like the word should, but I'm going to use it. Your email subscribers should be your like VIPs, your inner circle, the people that you're giving the most value to. Start there and then spread from there rather than pulling stuff from your social media.
So the thought of creating loads of emails for some, already I'm like, oh, I'm going into procrastination mode. The thought of it. And you mentioned the word earlier, sequences. I've heard, about onboarding sequences and, different kind of sales sequences. What does that mean? And how can that help us like automate a customer's journey through email?
Okay, so a sequence, very, very simply put, is just a load of automated emails in the same order to people from the point at which they sign up. So that could be they sign up to receive your newsletter and they get one email saying, thanks for signing up. Here's a reminder of what you're going to get and when you're going to get it. And then there might be a couple of other emails. I quite like my newsletter welcome sequence to be really light touch, actually, and just start with a bit of my voice and a bit of my personality so people can see what to expect. But I don't go too far down the pushing social proof and testimonials and making it really hardcore from the beginning, because actually they've signed up to receive my newsletter. So that's what I'm going to give them first. And then the other stuff can come. But you can use sequences for sales as well, as you said, Jo. So if you're launching something new, or if you're having a big sales push, you can use a sequence of emails to nurture people, warm them up to the point where you've built the know, like, and trust factors via telling them how you work with people already, showing them testimonials, showing them your pricing, or telling them about how you can move forward with working with you. So that could be a more, I guess, traditional sales sequence, but also something you've just touched on that I absolutely love using email for is post-sale. So everybody talks about email marketing for marketing up to the point of sale, and then it all stops. And you think there's so much in this email software that we all use or have the potential to use. There is so much potential for enhancing our customers' journeys once they're customers. So an onboarding email, so they sign up for you to do their bookkeeping. They get an onboard, everybody gets the same onboarding email with the same, like, this is the form that you need to, or the forms you need to fill in and the contract you need to complete. And all of that stuff can be automated, makes your life easier. And it also makes your clients' lives much more streamlined. And it gives them a taste of how much easier it is going to be working with you than it was when they were trying to do everything themselves. So I think a lot of businesses do miss a trick in not using email for post-sale customer journeys as well.
Yeah, like getting some kind of instant email, and we talk about like buyer's remorse. You want people to straight away feel like, yes, I've made the right decision. And actually, if they're getting these automated things coming through, they're going to know, okay, I know what's happening next. There's a workflow, there's a process. I can trust that I'm being looked after. I love that. For people who don't have a website or any of that, because I know like Jo didn't have a website for years, and I know you did a lot of your marketing through Facebook, really, and you had a LinkedIn page. Do you need to have a fancy website to have email marketing, or can you? We were talking about lead magnets. How do you host that, and how do you make sure people can access that if you don't have a website?
So no, you don't need a website, and most of the email marketing platforms will have a function within them where you can create forms and landing pages and all of the stuff that you need in order to do email marketing independently of having a website. So some people have a website and don't even use it for any of their email marketing stuff. They just house it all within the email marketing software just because it all talks to each other and it's a bit easier to integrate it all. So you absolutely do not need a website to start email marketing, no.
If someone's new and starting out, and I mean, thinking about this software, this email marketing software, what are some of the names that people should look out for if they're brand new and thinking, I want to start a list? I had the conversation yesterday with my sister. She was going to just house it on Excel and then send out individual emails. And then we were all saying, no, there's other options, there's free options, and you can have like more people on a list and still have it automated even for free. What kind of software's out there for new people starting out with this?
So for new people, I'm generally quite system agnostic because I've got clients who work on lots of different systems. But for new people who are just starting out and they want to test the waters, I would recommend MailerLite, just because there's a really generous free tier of what you get for free. Their free tier is a lot more than you get on other platforms. It's really user friendly. It's got all of the landing pages and the forms and stuff. So if you don't have a website, that's fine. You can do it all in there. It's all quite intuitive, and most importantly, their customer support is really, really good. So if you're not quite sure what you're doing, like none of us did at the beginning, then you can ask them and they're really quick at getting back to you. I don't actually use MailerLite, but lots and lots of my clients do and absolutely swear by it.
So if you start an email list, there might be like a free download, a checklist or something guide that's going to help you do better bookkeeping. You have it on a landing page. Some people sign up, put their email address in, then they get the thing sent to them. And then do they just straight away, you might put them in a sequence, or they might just start getting emails from you. How frequently should you be emailing people, really? Johan's just said in the chat, in the comments on YouTube, one of my clients requested an annual email where we inform them about relevant news for the upcoming year. Do you do anything similar? And I'm just wondering, is annual enough? How often should we be in touch?
Well, I think for your clients, that is a really nice idea. And that is a really good example of something that you can do post-sale for your clients when you want to keep them informed of stuff, but you've got a fairly regular touch point with them anyway, because they're paying you to do the service that you're doing for them. So I don't actually do that, Johan, but it's a really good idea. And I actually spoke to a client this morning, a new client who's a VA and is doing exactly the same thing. So she is just doing a monthly update for all of her existing clients with anything that is relevant to all of them. So she does different work for different people, but if there's blanket information about systems that all of them use or particular services that she does for all of them, she's going to start incorporating that just to her clients. In terms of actual email marketing, so the pre-sale stuff, I would say that once a month is probably, not many people are going to want to hear this, is probably not often enough, just because if you receive an email from someone in January and then their next email doesn't come out till February, but you don't actually see that one because it goes into your spam or you're on holiday or something, and then you don't hear from them again till March, that's quite a long gap to not hear from someone, and it doesn't really feel like a regular touch point. And also there's the risk that someone could sign up in December, receive your January email, miss the February one, and then by March they've forgotten who you are and they think, well, this is spam, I don't remember signing up for this. So I think having a much more regular cadence is less risky and also more effective all round. In terms of what the ideal is, it really depends on who you are, who your clients are, the kind of work that you're doing for people. I mean, I would say that bookkeepers would probably have, because by the nature of your work, you're doing longer term work with fewer people, rather than it being like a huge volume game where you're trying to get 30,000 people and you want them all to buy your course or something like that. If you're actually providing a service, then emails once a week might be too much, but once every 2 weeks might feel better. Sometimes you just have to ask the people that you're going to send the email to, like, what would feel too much to you, and or test. And if it doesn't feel like it's working, if your open rates are dropping off, or if something doesn't feel right, or if it feels too much for you, then change it. Email marketing is all about testing and tweaking and just making kind of course corrections as you go along, really.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Go and ask your clients what they want to hear. And I like this idea of working an email marketing to your current clients. I think we forget that we are still marketing to our current clients, and that feels really good. So if you thought about, okay, there's 12 months, you think about, like, now Christmas, when are you shutting for Christmas? What are the deadlines? Then you think about if you've got summer holiday? There'll need to be an email then. What about when there's an autumn statement and a spring statement, and when there's deadlines for, you know, all of these things. And then we're always talking about like trying to take our clients through like a client training program to show them the best way that they need to be so that you can help them the most. You know, if you've got certain services, maybe each, like an email a month could be around that service, but then you're also upselling to clients that haven't got that service. So if at the beginning, like feeling that sales to the cold market or out feels a bit, maybe start this off with your current clients and give them that extra value, because we're always marketing to them so that they stay with us and that we have the retention of the clients that we've got. So I actually I feel like, I could definitely write 12 emails. And then over time you might think, I'll put another one here and another one here. I think if sometimes it becomes overwhelming, you think I've got to do an email once a week. But if you started off with 12 to your current list, especially if you're seeing them as well for meetings and things, so it's just another touch point for them. I think that feels quite good as a good starting point.
Yeah, definitely. And also you just touched on something as well, that you can almost use those emails as a way of reducing your workload, because you're preempting questions that most of your clients will probably end up asking. So if there is an autumn statement, or if there is a deadline coming up or something, chances are you'll probably have 4 or 5 clients emailing you asking you the same question, and you're then having to reply to all of them. So if you preempt that and send that to all of them beforehand and answer their question before it comes to you, it actually saves you time. Rather than it being another piece of work to do, it's actually 3 fewer pieces of work. And that's an easier way of dealing with it in your head as well, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Like a FAQs sort of thing. And actually that could be a way to think of ideas. Can you use the same things? Like I'm not saying exactly regurgitate everything. And if it needed to change, it would need to change. But could you next year put the same sort of Christmas email out, for example?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've just done exactly the same thing. So every year I round up all of the best bits from my previous 12 months of emails, which is a massive piece of work, but people really like it as a digest, particularly because I try and get people to delete my emails as they go along. So just from a carbon footprint point of view, it's quite handy to get rid of them rather than keep hold of them. But that's a whole other conversation, possibly a conversation with Catherine Fremond rather than me. But yeah, so I try and get people to delete my emails, but then at the end of the year, I round up all of the sections and links in one email. And I did that last year, and I've done it this year, and I'll do it every year to come now, because it works really well. And yeah, so yes, that's a very long answer to a short question there, Zoe. Sorry.
No, that's right. We in our business, obviously our business is different to a bookkeeping business, but there are things that we do where it will be a very similar email, and it makes sense you write it once, you review it, but if you can use it again, then you use it again, and it just saves us having to think all the time. A bit like social media.
Exactly. And most people won't. I don't know about you. I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. I don't remember what I sent in an email 3 months ago. So I don't expect anyone else to remember what I sent in an email 12 months ago. And I'll have new people on my list by the time the next year comes around as well. So yeah, definitely make your workload as light as you can and reuse as much as you possibly can, because nobody will notice.
Zoe often finishes our emails with a question or something to get people to respond and to reply, to have that interaction, which is great. What is that adding more? Is that just to start conversations with prospects? And how can we, what are good questions to ask? Do you do that? Or how do we make sure that people are reading? I know we can obviously look at open rates and things like that. Is it a case we should be really analysing that data and thinking, right, that didn't do well, I've had loads of unsubscribed people since I've sent that email? Like, how much do you look at the data behind it and how people are interacting?
I do look at the data, but I would say that if you're just starting out, don't get too hung up on the data, because it can be tempting it can be off-putting. If you send a few emails and then you send one and a load of people drop off and unsubscribe, sometimes it might just be the time of year. I get loads of unsubscribes at the beginning of January just because people come back after Christmas and they get my email in their inbox and they think, yeah, this is probably too much for me this year, unsubscribe. I now see, I used to take every unsubscribe really personally. I now see it as just making room for somebody who will want to read my emails or might eventually buy from me. And I don't want people being subscribed to my list and not reading. I would much rather they unsubscribed, and it will cost me less money in the long run, because if I've got them on my list and I'm sending them emails, I pay for them in my email marketing software, even if they're not reading. So that's kind of it's a bit of a bit cheesy, but it's a gift for people to unsubscribe, because it's getting me some space and some money back. I've forgotten the rest of your question, Jo. Sorry.
Me too.
I can remember. Just asking about, like, the stats are really good. This is interesting because well, it's interesting for later. There's so much, we could talk about this all day, couldn't we? Usually at the end of our emails, I will say, hit reply and let me know something, something related to the email. And people reply and we reply, and then we have chats and people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect you to actually reply. And there's something very personal about that. It does, and we love to do it because often it's someone who isn't going to be in a position to invest in a program with us yet, but they might do in the future. And actually, if we can get them through a challenge that they have, we're building in that kind of that trust and loyalty, and that person will stay in our world for a while. So I suppose Jo's question was potentially, how do you get people to take action off the back of an email, and what's the kind of action you would want them to take?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why you have a really successful business is because you do that, because there are so many people out there who, one of the main reasons why people ask questions in emails is to get engagement and to boost their deliverability, because if somebody replies to your email, it will signal to the email servers, the email gods, that you're a safe sender and that you will then go in their inbox week in, week out, rather than going into their spam. Lots of business owners, particularly bigger business owners or bigger kind of influencer types, like the people who've got loads and loads of followers on social media and kind of feel a bit unobtainable, will do that, ask a question. I've had this with someone where they'll ask me a question, what line of work are you in? And I reply, and then I hear nothing back. And I just think, why are you bothering asking me what my business is when you're not going to reply to my response? And I actually asked a question in response as well, so they had no excuse not to reply. And that puts me off working with those people. And so the fact that you actually take the time out to answer the answers that you get, because email is a two-way street. I know email marketing feels like it's just kind of you shouting into people's inboxes and them hoping that, or you then hoping that they're going to read it, not you personally, but one. Actually, when you can turn it into a two-way conversation, when you can ask a question that just resonates with people, and it does not have to be a business-related question, it can be. One of my most engaged with emails was, what's your favorite burger topping? Just at the end of my email, I just put, PS, what's your favorite burger topping? So many people replied, and I had so many conversations off the back of it, and a few of them are now clients because of this stupid burger conversation we had. But it's because I'm a human, they're a human, everyone has an opinion on burgers, and we found a way to connect. And so if you can do that just with really simple questions that don't take too long for people to respond to, then you're going to be winning over all the other people who are trying to do it and not really doing it very well.
Okay, right, we're going to do that then. Look out for an email from us soon about your favourite burger topping.
I'm surprised no one's put it in the chat yet, to be honest.
I know. Where are you? Yeah, okay, that's amazing. Right, we need to do more of that. So it sounds like email is something that people can start quite simply, with a little bit of probably watching a bit of YouTube to work out how to set it up, but it should be something that everyone can do. Do you think this is an important part of everybody's general marketing campaign? And how much attention, if you think, because my brain works this way, in my pie chart of my brain, I'm just thinking about what slice of that pie chart needs attention on email marketing compared to the rest of your marketing work.
A lot of my answers to questions are it depends, and I find it really irritating having to say it depends all the time, but it really does depend on how much, on what your business is, on how much capacity you've got, what's sustainable for you. So the slice of pie will be different in everyone's brain, I think, when it comes to email marketing. One thing, I've just written a LinkedIn post ranting about this last night though. So you'll see so many people on social media saying you can't have a successful business without a website. Not true. You can't have a successful business without posting on LinkedIn. Not true. You can't have a six-figure business without doing email marketing. Absolutely not true. And I'm never going to tell you that your business will fail if you don't do email marketing. It's a great tool, but you do have to be committed to it. It is a longer term play than social media, and then one of the most powerful ways of marketing your business is through word of mouth, because the people who come to you already trust you. And that trust takes longer to build up over email. So it does take some consistency, and it does take patience. And it's not for everyone, and it's not for everyone at the start. So if you're thinking, oh God, this is another thing that I've got to do, I really can't take it, probably not quite the right time to start. Actually wait until you feel like you're in the headspace to put some thought into it. Another thing that I see on social media all the time is people saying, just start, about everything in business. Just start. Don't start before you're ready. And actually, I don't think that should be the approach with email marketing, because if you just start and then you fall off the wagon, or you don't do it particularly well, then you're probably going to do more damage than not doing it at all. So actually waiting until you've got the headspace to think about how you're going to go about it and how you're going to capitalize on it is way, way better than just starting.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, I built my business up without a website and without email marketing. Now, could I have built it quicker, better with those? Maybe. I just didn't have the headspace or the inclination at the time. It's just, I think there's it. But then I was working in like Facebook groups and doing different things that other people would have gone, oh, no, that's not for me. So I think it's a good response to say it depends, because everybody's different, and hence that's why everyone builds businesses differently, and you've got to really play to your strengths. Did I email my clients and future prospects? Yes, I just didn't have it and now thinking about it, I'm like, I could have easily done that. But sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees when you're really in it. And I was thinking about, LinkedIn or speaking at events, or there are so many things we can do, and it doesn't mean you should do all of it, but it's really good to be, have this in your arsenal ready for when, if you do have time to map out 12. I like the idea of slowly building. For me, it's how I work. I think, can I think of 12, and could I start off? It's about that consistency. If I can prove to myself, because for me, I won't start something if I think I'm not going to do it. So if you say to me, do one a week, I'm going to be like, I know it's not going to happen, so I'm not going to start. Whereas now think about it, one a month. Could I write all 12? Yes. And then I know it's going to, okay, it's like a commitment to myself, a promise to myself. And I don't want to break promises to myself. Yeah. So it's about figuring out what feels good for you, but it might not be right for you. Me and Zoe have, built an email list because our business is on Facebook, and we don't own Facebook. And that could go at any given time. That is the reality of having an online business. So you do need to have but think about that for you. Where is your where's the data? Where have you captured, your clients, your prospects? How are you doing that? But it doesn't mean this way is the only way. It's just a fantastic tool if you've got the headspace and the capacity to do it. And I've really enjoyed listening to it from the beginner's point of view. I think that's the other thing as well. When people talk about it, when I first heard about it, people were talking about sequences, lead magnets, funnels. And I was like, what? This is just, I know how to do a VAT return. That's complicated enough. And then you've got to do all of this on top. It's a lot, isn't it? So it's good to hear about how it can be done in a simpler format, but still have some impact. And actually, even if you start off looking after the clients you've got now, you've already got all of their emails. I think it's about practicing and trusting yourself. You're not going to get it wrong. I think we all worry all the time. That's part of our, especially bookkeepers and accountants, we worry that we're going to do something wrong. So, and that's definitely held me back from giving this a go in the past. But I think if it was something where I thought all my current clients would benefit, that might have been a good starting point. So yeah, I'd like to hear from anyone that's thinking about it, what you're going to do and how you're going to approach this. It'd be really good. We've had some burger toppings, gherkins.
Yep, gherkins, cheese, obviously.
Obviously.
What's you, Zoe? What do you like as a veggie? You don't like the burger?
Yeah, not a burger, but yeah, gherkins all day. Yeah. How about you, Katie?
Yeah, I'm a veggie burger kind of person as well, but I like an onion, not just one, not a whole onion. Really weird. I don't have the burger. I just have an onion in a roll, raw as well. No, not an onion. Fried onions, maybe a bit of cheese. Quite simple. I'm not a gherkin fan though, so you can have my gherkin, Zoe.
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll post them to you. You can have them with a piece of fish.
That was a good boot camp moment. Oh, well, look, Katie, thank you so much for coming to chat to us. How can Tori said caramelized onion. Yes. Can you let us know how people can get on your mailing list? Because yours is amazing and has all of these great insights about burger toppings and really good email stuff. Like, I love reading your emails. So how can people find out more about you, Katie?
Oh, thank you. So my the way to get on my email list is via my website, which is kind of in stasis apart from the email list at the moment. But the website address is littlegreenduck.co.uk, and there should be a little sign up form in the corner. I was going to do the whole URL, but I won't. Just littlegreenduck.co.uk, or you can come and find me on LinkedIn, and there's a sign up form on there as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for speaking to us. I think this is our last podcast of the year, So yeah, thank you for helping us wrap up the year, and thanks everyone for being here with us. We've actually got an awards ceremony coming up for our Success Lounge members. We've kept it small. People have asked us for a long time whether we would do some Bookkeepers Awards, and we thought, you know what, we're going to do it this year. So we've got 6 beautiful glass awards for some amazing bookkeepers in our community who've done incredible things. We're going to have a little Christmas party within our Success Lounge, and then we're going to share the replay of the awards ceremony on our YouTube channel. So if you go and subscribe look for 6 Figure Bookkeeper on YouTube, we'd love to see you there. And we'll see you in the new year. But thank you so much. Thanks, Katie. Thanks everyone for watching. And we will see you next time on the Bookkeepers Podcast. Take care. Bye.
Bye.